Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Now Streaming program coming to you live on ACNN TV here in the capital city of Abuja. I am your anchor for today, Rachel Igbunu, and I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have my co-anchor with me. Good morning.
Rachel,
Good
and a
morning,
very good
Gordon.
morning to our viewers out there.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's actually been nice being
Like
back, you know.
a week.
Yes, a week break for me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also joining us this morning in the studio to do some justice to some of the questions before us this morning is Dr. Sunday Olatunde. He is a clinical pharmacist and fellow of the West Africa Postgraduate College of Pharmacists.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having
Today
me.
is your day, but we'll get there later.
Yeah, no problem. Thank
Welcome
you
to the
very much.
program. Remember, you can join the conversation by calling the numbers showing on your screen or through our various social media platforms showing also on your screen. So viewers will be talking about some salient issues surrounding pharmacies in and around the world as we celebrate World Pharmacist Day. So World Pharmacist Day is observed every year on September the 25th to honor and acknowledge pharmacists for their important contributions to enhancing world health. And this special day highlights the essential role pharmacists play in improving people's life. And so with this, we say Happy Pharmacist Day to all pharmacists worldwide. Happy Pharmacist
Thank
Day.
you very much. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, at least to speak on this subject.
All right. So we have some few questions before us this morning, and I would like Godwin to go first.
All right, thank you, Rachel. And the questions are quite direct, and it says, who actually is a pharmacist? Help our viewers to understand that.
Okay, thank you very much. A pharmacist is a person that is licensed to practice pharmacy. And what is pharmacy? The art and science of drug discovery, drug testing, in this case, when I say drug, I mean medications.
Okay.
Drug discovery, drug testing, drug manufacturing, drug dispensing,
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Yes, I was waiting for that.
drug dispensing, patient counseling, education of healthcare workers who have anything to do with medicines, making medicines available, accessible, and affordable to global populace.
Okay.
That person has the license to perform those roles. And how does he get to have the license? He will need a certain minimum level of education. In Nigeria, it's a minimum of Bachelor of Pharmacy degree. Such is not obtained from any other institution other than a university. After you might have been in science classes in secondary school and you obtain your 5 credit at least, you secure admission to a university. The minimum you can get to be licensed as a pharmacist is a 5-year Bachelor of Pharmacy program in an accredited university. And after then, you will be sworn in into the profession of pharmacy and proceed to your internship. The internship is a 1-year training to give you experience. After that 1 year, you get a certificate of experience, which you will now use to apply for your license.
Oh.
Then, when you are licensed,
What a
you
process.
are a pharmacist.
Okay, while you were trying to define who a pharmacist is, I know when you got to dispensing of medication,
Yes.
I was waiting for that to come up. We have so many, we call them chemists, we have we have those even hawking drugs on their heads, even in the
Yes.
market spaces, you see them. So who regulates these individuals before we come into the celebration?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. There are about 3 regulatory agencies in pharmacy practice. The first one is the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. It's an agency of federal government. By the way, I must say that pharmacy regulation is in the exclusive list of the federal government. That
Okay.
is, states don't concurrently legislate on pharmacy.
Oh.
It's only National Assembly that legislates for pharmacy. So, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, agency of government, they regulate the practice of pharmacy and pharmacists themselves. NAFDAC, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, they regulate the quality of products.
Okay.
That's the quality of medication. Pharmacy Council does not go into the quality. It is NAFDAC that goes into quality of medication, but Pharmacy Council regulate the pharmacy practice and pharmacists themselves. Then we have the third agency, though not quite directly related, but they still play in that particular sphere. That is NDLEA, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, which goes after, you know, drug, the one you can call that's drug of abuse. I think we have spoken about that in the time past. Such drugs, they should not be in circulation. People should not get addicted, and so on and so forth. That is NDLEA. Those are the three agencies you will find in this sphere that regulate pharmacy profession, medicine and medications, and drug of abuse.
So how effective can you say they are, narrowing it down to Nigeria? Because as regards to regulation, yes.
I must say that the agencies are trying. However, there's still much to be desired from them. I must say that. And you know, whatever happens to pharmacy cannot be easily divorced from what happens in Nigeria, because we practice in an environment that is quite chaotic, and in some cases where people do not prioritize integrity where they do what they do, and in some cases you are limited by infrastructure. Like I said the other time, you need let's say a kind of 1,000 staff or more to prosecute your job nationwide. The government could only, you know, pay for 250, and it's what government can pay for that you can employ. Or where will you get the money to pay? So if you have a 250 staff to prosecute, like the chief of army staff was saying, you know, it's almost the same. So that's the limitation that you find with Pharmacy Council. But apart from that, they are trying their best where they need to function.
Okay.
I know that there's still much to be desired from them.
All right, viewers, you can call in. We have the doctor here. If you have any question bothering you since he's here, you can call in and ask your question on maybe the usage of drugs or what needs to be done. Our numbers are displayed on your screen.
All right, Doc, so much have been said already, but I personally am key to these regulations and how they are being implemented.
Yes.
You know, you've said so much, and when you look at the streets, you still find these drug hawkers around in every nook and crannies of and an average Nigerian, I would say, have more access to these persons.
Yes, yes.
So is it that these regulatory agencies are turning a blind eye to these ones? Because most especially in the far north, you find them more. In every street corner, there is someone hawking drugs. And these persons are more or less the peddlers of uncontrolled drugs. So how could this be better regulated outside regulating all the pharmaceutical practices in Nigeria? I'm talking about these specific ones that still deal with drugs.
Thank you very much. Is there any sector or subsector in Nigeria that you don't have people who are meddlesome interloper, people who should ordinarily not have anything to do with what they are doing, but they do it anyway because of lack of regulation? Regulation is everything. In Nigeria of today, well, let me quickly brighten our opinion on how pharmacy is regulated. Okay, you know, we are not coming from manufacturing, we are coming from dispensing. Dispensing has two ways to look at it: a registered pharmacy, a registered patent medicine, and others are medicine. There are just two that you can register: a pharmacy, a patent medicine. What's the difference between the two? The one you may quickly call chemist, if it is registered. The difference is this: one is manned by a pharmacist. The other is a kind of affront, a kind of arrangement to serve the underserved by the Ministry of Health. Of course, you know that when a country is developing, there's some capacity country may not have attained. For example, there are countries in Africa, for example, that have no pharmacy school. Therefore, they don't even have pharmacists in their country. Okay. Some go extra mile to bring foreign pharmacists to practice. Some don't bother. They use pharmacy technician, that's lower cadre people, to prosecute pharmacy work because of their level of development. In our own case, we started producing pharmacists in Nigeria. That's for you to even see that we have even gone far. Based on the standard of Africa, we have been producing pharmacists. But as I tell you, as at the time I was graduating, we had about 21,000 pharmacists in Nigeria. That's produced ever in Nigeria. And about 1/3 of that have traveled out. And we now have like about 18,000 or thereabout to serve about 220 million people. It then means that we are going to have shortage. Is that not true?
Definitely.
Coupled with the fact that many pharmacists will prefer to stay in the city and not in the interlands. So you now need to serve those who are underserved. So the Federal Ministry of Health came with, if people have some level of substantial knowledge of, let's say, secondary school, there are medicines that are not so dangerous that you can keep in their custody, so that the underserved, those in the villages who may have headache in the middle of the night, can have paracetamol. If somebody is having a common whooping cough, before he will go to anywhere to go and seek help, he can take cough syrup before then. Those are drugs we can classify as over-the-counter medicine. Those ones should not go beyond over-the-counter medicine. They don't need expertise to handle many of those medicine because they do not portend so much of danger. Those are the two arrangements with Ministry of Health. But we now see a situation where somebody does not even have any connection with Pharmacy Council to register, because the two of them, you must register with Pharmacy Council. You see somebody just open shop somewhere and start selling something and call it a chemist without registration. And that's what, and when we now have this kind of thing going everywhere, it's even better in Abuja because people are a little educated. When you go to the interlands, you know that that's the only thing you see. In such situation, this is an agency of government that is supposed to regulate. But the agency of government is not everywhere. When you go to state capital, you see Office of Pharmacy Council in all state capitals. How many staffs are there? Where you have 5 staffs to prosecute the entire state. How do you want to go about that kind of chaotic regulatory circumstances? And that's the challenge I think we are having. And because there's also no legislation that is stringent against the practice of that kind of whatever. Because if there's a stringent legislation against it, that if anybody is found dealing with anything that you are not supposed to be dealing with, you have a kind of penalty that is very severe. Nobody will go close to it. But in fact, this was recently we got a new pharmacy law which put the regulation of those people absolutely in the hand of pharmacists and Pharmacy Council. Before, the agency used to be Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. It is now we change it to Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. The two of them are different. Because we make it Pharmacists Council, it means that it is the professional that is regulating. It doesn't have capacity to regulate, control the practice of pharmacy to the extent of those who are not this thing. So whenever you even want to take a kind of stringent action against them, they take you to court and blatantly or gallantly they win you because you are supposed to be regulating pharmacists and not them. It is later we had to go through the National Assembly to promulgate a new law, and which graciously the President Buhari then assented to it, which now changed the name and the authority to Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, which now has the authority to regulate every aspect that deals with pharmacy. It is then those people are now brought under the control of Pharmacy Council.
We've overwhelmed you with some questions that it needs some answers.
Yes, and I'm happy to answer
got
that.
So today is World Pharmacist Day.
Yes.
We're celebrating. Why do we need to celebrate it? I'll merge these questions together because of our time. And the theme for this year is Pharmacists Meeting Global Health Need. I want your take on that, and why do we need to celebrate pharmacists
Okay,
today?
let me take the second question. Why do we need to celebrate pharmacists? Well, pharmacists are unsung heroes. When I say unsung heroes, we are the oxygen of healthcare system. Just imagine the healthcare system without medication. How does it look? Have you not sacked the doctor? Have you not sacked the nurses? Have you not sacked the dentist when there is no medication? They
all need the medication to perform.
They will all live on it. Even surgery cannot be performed without it, because you must anesthetize the patient. You must also nurse the surgery thereafter. So, ever before now, that's why I say they are unsung hero. The role is so pivotal. What they do is so germane, it's so important to the survival of the whole world. But nobody talks about it. And nobody knows about it. People ask you and say, what do you do, Seth? Even when you write pharmacists on your list. Because they don't even know what
if you are not a surgeon, if you are not
now. So, and that's why I said we are the oxygen of the healthcare system. Take us out. Take the healthcare system out completely. So, because people are not quite aware, in 2009, the International Pharmaceutical Federation, in collaboration with World Health Organization, which used to be World Health Assembly, felt or thought it's going to be wise to restore the outstanding contributions of pharmacists to healthcare system, drumming awareness so that people will be aware of the pivotal role that pharmacists are playing in the healthcare system. They now say, okay, it will be important to get a day separated to sing the song that have never been sung. And that is to extol the contributions of pharmacists worldwide. So the first came about having a week to celebrate pharmacists. And that week normally starts from 18th of every September to 25th of every September. That is called Pharmacy Week. But that Pharmacy Week now culminates in Pharmacists Day, which is 25th of every September every year, in order to just drum awareness that we have a professional, or we have professionals who are competent and who perform a role that all other roles hang on, but nobody is talking about it.
So how is it celebrated in Nigeria, if there is any?
Yes, we have been celebrating for the past 7 days.
Okay.
In fact, we started with a road show on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
I've been on different TV stations for the past 3 days to speak concerning this same subject matter. And other colleagues are in different radio stations and TV stations today as we speak. And we are also having lectures here and there to actually, and we are not only doing it in Nigeria, it's worldwide. And like I said, International Pharmaceutical Federation is their program. All of us just key into it.
Okay.
How are we meeting Global Health Net? You know, the Global Health Net, one of their goals is universal health coverage by promoting and expanding the role of primary health care in our communities and society, because that's where you can extend access. It's about availability of healthcare services. It's about accessibility of healthcare services. It's about affordability of healthcare services. So, to meet global role, pharmacists have been playing a pivotal role, being competent in what they do in research and development, because it is through research we develop or we discover a new medicine, or the old medicine, or modification of the old medicine. It is in research and development you try to evaluate the performance of existing medicine, the one we call post-market surveillance. Then it is in research you get a product that you can take through clinical trials to see what new thing can be done with either existing or a new product. It is in research you take it to manufacturing outlet to now produce it in different kind of formulations. Of course, how do we come about making medicine as tablet, making it as cream, making it as injection, making it as inhalation, making it as different wherever? It's through research we get to know the appropriate formulation. It is through research we know the demography of people that will need that medicine. For example, research will tell us what is the population of asthmatic patients worldwide. And if you want to make medicines for asthma, you should be targeting a certain population. Where are those populations? Okay, so many things happen with research. So research and development to manufacturing and formulation to going to detailing the medicine. Of course, you know that when a medicine is produced, it is the role of pharmacists to take the medicine to doctors and nurses who may have anything to do with that medicine and educate them on what the medicine is used for. It's not only what the medicine is used for. You talk to them about the interactions the medicine may have. You talk to them about the side effect, the dosing system of that medicine. It's at that point the pharmacist will now withdraw and go to, if he finds himself in the hospital setting, to be the one to now have the custody of the medicine, hand it over to the patient, counsel the patient, and see that that medicine is optimally used, and the medicine given that is supposed to be a therapeutic agent is not a poison to the patient. That's how we play our role to ensure that we meet global health need. And in many cases, we also
Sorry, don't you think this is a whole lot? Like he said, they've been ignored and maybe sidelined.
I think that is where I was actually coming in.
Okay.
Doc, you've said so much
Yes.
as to the importance of pharmacists within the healthcare. Now let's bring it a little bit more into the Nigerian factor,
Yes, sir.
where we now have the Japa syndrome and
Yes.
everything playing out.
Yes.
How are the Nigerian pharmacists faring?
Okay.
And if they are faring well, what would you say are those occupational hazards that are accompanying this noble profession?
Okay, yes, we are faring fairly well, but
Okay.
not
Well,
as well as you may think.
Okay.
In the first place, even if those who traveled out were still in the country, we are not enough. We are not enough. Take a look at it. 21,000. Let's say we are even 25,000 to 220 million population. Is that work not going to be too overwhelming?
are you saying in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, you know, one thing is this: Pharmacy Council keeps register of all pharmacists in Nigeria produced either abroad or in Nigeria that are registered in Nigeria. Well, of course, you know that if you study pharmacy in the US, you can't come to Nigeria and practice except you go through our licensing procedure.
Okay.
It's not only when we go there they say you write exam. Here too, when you come, you
You
write
have to.
exam. Because see, Pharmacy Council all over the world, they have a kind of connection. You can't escape pharmacy here, or let's say you travel and you are a pharmacist here. You want to go and practice over, you can't practice. There is one requirement in immigration. If you want to go as a pharmacist, they call it letter of good standing. That letter of good standing must be obtained from your pharmacy council of the country where you are coming from, where you are registered. Now, before they issue that letter of good standing for you, they must have looked at your standing, whether you are actually good. Are you getting it?
So
It
it's
is
not
that
enough
letter.
that you went to school here, then you jackpot and immediately you get there.
When you get there, just write the exam. No, you will collect your transcripts
Okay.
back at home, your certificates. Let's say it's Bachelor of Pharmacy you have. You will collect your certificates. You will collect your transcript. That transcript is what they will evaluate. They will subject it to what they call Word Evaluation Service, that will evaluate the equivalence, what that your Bachelor of Pharmacy is equal to in their claim. Are you getting it? When they do that, they will issue a certificate, whether it's equal to their bachelor degree or it's less or it's more, based on your transcript. You know, transcript will tell the credit, the hours, and the courses you have offered in that school. So they evaluate all of that together. They will now ask you for letter of good standing from your pharmacy council where you are coming from. So when you get that, all those ones, you normally pay a certain little amount to get it from pharmacy council. Then you send to them. Then you are on good track in order to get registered in that country. So in terms of even if we were here, all of them were here, we will not still be enough to serve this population. And that's one of the reasons why you see more pharmacists in the city, and if you go to the hinterland, you don't see pharmacists there. That is also supported or occasioned by the issue with local government autonomy. you know, the primary health care, which is supposed to be at the doorstep of the people in the hinterlands, especially and essentially, because the local governments, they are not autonomous, they don't have financial autonomy, they are not operating those local primary health care. And because they are not operating those primary health care, people in the hinterlands don't have access to qualified hands to handle their health care system. Are we getting that?
Yes.
So now, the people who have traveled, we are now there is a short of manpower in pharmacy practice, which makes the load of the work enormity to be far much more increased for those
That is
who
one
are
of the
still at home.
challenge
That's one of the challenges
that
we are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we will. Okay, that's one challenge. We will also face the challenges of infrastructure. Do you know that the extent of success you can make of any profession depends on the extent of development, economic development of that same country?
It's true.
For example, you know, GSK just left Nigeria. GSK is one of the most sophisticated pharmaceutical producing companies in the world. Not even is a, you know, GSK is a UK company that has been in Nigeria for about 3 or over 3 decades. Okay, when you talk of sophisticated research and development, take a look at during the coronavirus. How many countries worldwide was able to bring up a vaccine within 1 hour of coronavirus? Capacity. And if that capacity exists in your country, those are the opportunities you are going to access when you finish school.
Yes.
But if those ones were not there, you will just be limited to some certain. For example, many pharmacists in Nigeria, they are limited to either working in the hospital, working in the community pharmacy, or working in some formulation outlets, companies that make medicine, but they don't produce the raw material of the medicines. Do you understand me now? Okay, so in all of this, because of the capacity of this country, the success of the pharmacists in Nigeria is limited to the capacity of the country where they operate.
So what is the government doing now, because we have limited? What is the government doing in trying to help, at least to a barest minimal help solve this issue?
Yes, you know, to the extent of the development of a country, let's put it that way, because I wanted to give an example before I answer this question. Do you know that if you go to some neighboring countries where they don't even have pharmacy school, if you read pharmacy here, you get to that country, you may see no policy at your or for your entry level into their civil service. I don't know if you get what I mean. You have PhD in pharmacy, you go to that country where there's even no, the highest person that works there as a pharmacist is a pharmacy technician who will start at maybe level 6 and terminate maybe at level 12. If you now get there with PhD, where would they put you? Do you understand? That's the case. It's like when you go to, but if you go higher to some other country that have structure, you fit into that structure and you get well remunerated and encouraged for your profession. So you say, what's the government doing? We will not say we are doing badly. The government of Nigeria is making effort to solve the problem. Okay, you know, recently there was an executive bill that was passed. That executive bill removed tariff on imported pharmaceutical raw materials and medical consumables, so that you can make local manufacturers to be competitive globally. That was a similar kind of policy that was established and was pursued vigorously by India. Today, I must tell you that India is one of the giants in pharmaceutical production. Many companies in Europe go to India to go and manufacture and take it back to Europe because of that kind of policy. So the government just passed an executive bill, or just says promote an executive bill recently in order to achieve that. That's a step in the right direction. However, that is addressing one side to it. There are other side. Other side of general infrastructure is very important. Energy security is very important. We need energy to manufacture. We need energy to transport. We also need energy to store. Do you understand? We need energy to store. There are some medicines that must be in a regulated temperature. If there is no light, and if you wanted to use generator, the cost of
you know
petrol
how much you're going
is
to
also
spend on
another. So infrastructure is a big deal. So government should work on infrastructure.
All right, Doc, I think you've done justice to all the questions we have,
Really?
but we're not going to let you go without you doing same to this.
Okay.
Now, it will be, what then is your word of advice on the use of drugs and also on the abuse of drugs?
Drug. Okay. Let me quickly talk about drug use, drug misuse, and drug abuse. Drug use is what we can define as the right way of using medications according to how it is prescribed. Drug misuse is using medication against prescription. If a medicine is supposed to be taken, let's say 8 hourly, 3 times a day, and a person just think, okay, I want to take it twice a day, that's a misuse of medicine. Many people want to define this as abuse, but it's not abuse. Okay, it's a misuse of medicine. However, abuse of medicine can only happen when somebody gets addicted to drugs of abuse. We call them psychoactive drugs. Those psychoactive drugs, they are groups, they are the ones that NDLA will be interested in. Because they have addictive tendency, they work on the brain and gets brain to get used to them, and makes the person that is taking it to be dependent, that if you don't see it, you don't live again. So that is abuse of drug. And there are many reasons why people go where people do that, because I could see one of the headlines that you put out together, or that I saw today, was how soldiers were abusing drugs. One of the things is that the nature of people's work may make them predisposed, but it is not encouraged that a person gets to be abusing drugs. It's a social problem, and it is a terrible thing. May we not have our wards or our families get addicted to medicine, to drugs. A lot of families have lost children into the hands of hard drugs. A lot of people have lost loved ones into the, not because they died, but because they become non-functional in the society, because they are addicted to drugs. I want to say that regardless the reason, it is not a place to be. Nobody should abuse drug. It is not good. It has a lot of consequences, health consequences, economic consequences. If you want to take a look at health consequences, for example, there are drugs that when you take, they increase some level of dopamine in the brain, making the person to be predisposed to psychosis. That's the one you call madness. There are people that will abuse some drugs, and the brain will just go haywire, and the person will not be able to function properly in the society. Or when somebody is addicted to drug, it's likely going to burden the body with a lot of that drug, because it's every day and not taking it. And as you pump it into the blood, the liver would be burdened, and the liver can lose its function. And if anybody has a liver failure, it's one of the conditions that almost don't have remedy. Almost don't have remedy. That's liver failure. And kidney can also be failing as a result of abuse of drug. If you get into that kind of healthcare challenges, some people have got HIV as a result of drug abuse. Of course, you know that there are some drugs that the abusers, they use needles to administer it to themselves. And they do it in cliques. That's in the company of other abusers. So when the other abuser, they may be 5 or 6, you don't know their health condition. Some of them have hepatitis B, some of them have HIV. But in the situation where they are changing the individual transfer, they transfer these infections, and the person pick HIV.
Okay, I know we can't exhaust this. The use we've talked about it before now.
Yes.
Yeah, so please, in 30 seconds, just a word of advice to your fellow pharmacists out there as they celebrate this day, and to the world at large.
I want to give a shout out to my colleagues out there who are celebrating the World Pharmacists Day, that they should do it with the pomp and pageantry, because it is a day that is worth celebrating. And I want to charge them at the same time to aspire to be a 7-star pharmacist.
No, we didn't get to hear about the 7-star.
Oh.
We'll do that some other time. Yeah.
Yes, to aspire to be a 7-star pharmacist. Like myself, I'm a 7-star pharmacist.
Okay.
So,
All right.
you know, from Bachelor of Pharmacy to Doctor of Pharmacy to fellowship. As a fellow, that's the position, what qualifies to be a consultant.
Okay.
Yes, that's what qualifies to be a consultant. It's a 5-year postgraduate program again in West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists. And at that level, you are taught and you are trained in leadership. You are trained as a teacher. And if you can look at our conversation, you will know that you are speaking to a teacher, a communicator, good communicator, and to be a lifelong learner, because the profession you practice, new things evolve every day. You keep on updating your knowledge, learning, train professionally, and so on. And you care for patients as well. Yes, every day today I care for patients. I practice as a person. I'm not just academically sound. I still attend to people at the level of, practice.
Right.
So as a 7-star pharmacist, I want to encourage everybody to become a 7-star.
Thank you so very much. And thank you for all the works you do. And a happy Pharmacist Day to you.
Thank you very
once
much,
again.
Rachel.
All right, Godwin.
Viewers, I think that is much we'll take. Thank you so much for joining us, and to you and your colleagues, we say Happy World Pharmacist Day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Now Streaming. Thank you for giving us audience. Let's do this again, same time, same station tomorrow. And to all pharmacists worldwide, thank you for ensuring the health and well-being of so many with your expert care and guidance. Wishing all the dedicated pharmacists around the world a very happy Pharmacist Day. Your work is invaluable to global health. May you continue to provide care, hope, and health to everyone who needs it. Do have a blessed and a safe day. I am Rachel Ebunu. Bye for now.